Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do something fun for Valentine's Day. I'm going to do a Valentine's tag. This is called the Love Hearts book tag. It's by What's Just Reading. I'm going to link her channel and her original video in the description down below. It's a really fun Valentine's themed tag, and I thought it was perfect to put out right before Valentine's. It's kind of centered around a kind of candy that they have in the UK that's kind of like sweethearts, I think, that say little phrases on them. I thought this was a super fun and cute idea, and I'm really excited to do it. A lot of it is centered around romance genres, which I have not read a lot of romance, but I'm planning to in the future. So I think I'm going to do this in a year from now and kind of see what my different answers are. So the first question is, what is your favorite romance book of all time? I haven't read a ton of romance books, but from the books that fall in that genre, I'm gonna have to say Discovery of Witches is my favorite. That's kind of like a paranormal fantasy romance book, and I really liked that book. I really liked the romance on it. I was a little skeptical at first that it was jumped into a little too quick, but it really grew on me, and so far I really like that romance series. There's 2 more in the series, so I can't wait to read that, but that would be my current favorite romance book of all time. Although Addie LaRue might also be kind of a romance book, and that if that's considered romance, Addie LaRue would probably be my favorite romance book. The second question is, what is a book that makes you super happy every time you read it? It wouldn't really be a romance book for me. I'd have to go back and say it's probably the Harry Potter books. If I had to pick a specific one, it would be the third, just because the vibes in that book are so, it feels very fall-like to me, even though I know every single year they experience a fall. It's just a different kind of happiness. There's no really Voldemort involved in it, which is kind of fun. The only villain you know isn't really a villain. Spoiler alert, sorry. The books have been out for a really long time. But it's just kind of that nice wholesome feeling before the books start getting really stressful later on in the series. And it just makes me feel so warm and happy and nostalgic when I read it. Number 3 is, name a book character you would date. This is hard. I don't know. I haven't read a lot of the really big popular romances that people stan, like A Court of Thorns and Roses or The Wicked King. I know there's other, kind of like another Sarah J. Maas is A Crescent City, that I know people love the romance in that. People love the romance. I'm pretty sure there's romance in Six of Crows and the book before that, the Shadow and Bone series. So I am hopefully planning on reading all of those this year, so maybe next year I'll pick my favorite out of those. But for the books that I've read, I might say Cedric, because I was a huge Edward fan in Twilight, but Edward's relationship with Bella was kind of weird, kind of creepy, so we're gonna make middle school me happy and go with his counterpart in the Harry Potter series, Cedric. Obviously, if he had survived, it would have been really fun to date him, probably. Number 4 is, would you date a non-reader? So I'd say yes, because when my husband and I started dating, I did not think that he read at all, and I didn't read a whole lot, but I knew that once I got out of college, I kind of wanted to start reading again, but I didn't think he read at all. But once I started reading, and we both were graduated and had a lot of more free time to read for leisure, he started picking up books that were really big fantasy novels he read when he was younger, and then he kind of dove into the Stormlight archives and finally convinced me to dive into those too. And so now I am dating a reader, and we're reading the same series, and it's a bunch of fun to be able to discuss the shock and turn of events with him of the books that we're reading. Number 5 is, what's your favorite romantic setting in a book, and where would your dream date be? I really liked the setting in Discovery of Witches that was very academia, and they're just studying and kind of running into each other and studying next to each other. That nice, cozy, kind of idealized version of grad school is really appealing to me. I know it's probably not what actually dating someone in grad school would be like, but I'd like to imagine that I would go into academia and be a professor, and I would, I don't know, hang out with my husband in the library, I guess. But my dream date would be a really nice restaurant. I would love it to be in Paris. I think it's a super romantic city, and just being somewhere fancy. My husband and I love going out to restaurants and really treating ourselves, getting a nice meal, some nice wine, maybe dessert. That's always a really fun thing that we like to do that we haven't been able to do a whole lot this year, but eventually we'll get back to doing it. The next question is, what is your favorite romantic scene in a book? And this is not a romance book, but my favorite romantic scene is, spoiler alert for Harry Potter, if anyone's really concerned about that. It's in the 7th book when Ron finally says something sticking up for like the house elves' rights, and then Hermione kisses him, and it's all this build up from like 7 books worth of emotional tension between them, and I thought it was so sweet, so cute, so romantic. I love that. I'm very upset that it didn't happen that way in the movies, but oh well. Which 3 characters would you invite to a party and why? This one is really hard. This is really, really hard for me. I'm probably just going to do books that I've recently read because I feel like that makes it easier for me to connect with the characters. But definitely Mirabelle from A Starless Sea, because I think any combination with her alone would just be amazing. I'm also going to say Kaya from Where the Crawdads Sing, which I also just read, but I think having a conversation with her would just be amazing, and she'd be really appreciative of whatever food you'd prepared at the party. She could probably prepare great food at the party. She's who I'd have cook, because all the food they talk about in that book sounds so good. And the third person, probably pick Shalon from the Stormlight Archive series, just because I adore her so much, and I think she'd be I think these are all very good intellectual women that would have some great conversations. I think that'd be a fun combo. So the next question is, what's a romance book that you would recommend to everyone? Or if you don't read romance, just any book, which I haven't read a whole bunch of romance, and this book isn't technically a romance book, but it has very strong romance lines in it, so I'm going to use it. It's kind of hard for me to recommend something for everyone, because I think you have to really like a certain genre or be in a certain mood to like any certain book, but this is the one that I think would appeal to the broadest range of people. It would be Where the Crawdads Sing. It has such a great romance, different romance lines through it, and just really pulls at your heartstrings, and was so good, and also kind of like a little legal thriller at the end. It's a perfect mix of everything in that book. I think a lot of people would really enjoy it. And the last question is, what is a book that you really want to own? This, I'm going to go with kind of the romance trope. I really want to own Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I know that a lot of people have really loved that book, and it's supposed to have a good romance in it. It's supposed to be really, really good. I guess it's not Crescent City, it's called House of Earth and Fire, but it's a Crescent City series. I also really want to get the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I want to read the Folk of the Air, the Wicked King, Cruel Prince, Wicked King, all that, of that trilogy. Those are supposed to be really good. They're Wicked King is YA, I know. Cruel Prince is YA, I know, so I was kind of cautious about it, but my friend Taylor said that she really loved the first 2 books, so I'm definitely going to take a stab at it sometime this year, and I'm excited to really kind of jump into the genre, even though it's more of like fantasy romance, since I'm a really big fantasy fan. But that's the end of the tag. I hope this was a really fun, short, quick video. I thought this tag was super creative, super fun. So please go watch her video down below. I thought it was super original and had a bunch of time filming this. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.